Okay, let's go. Jinjin asked me if I had like a guide or a video or something on Siege Expand for noobs or whatever. And I don't, this is just my personal opinion. There's better Terran players than me that have opinions, so I'm not saying you should listen to mine. But I don't really like suggesting that people do like builds that are perceived to be easier and safe just because they're new at the game. I really think it's better just to do just to learn the meta. I mean, you're gonna have to start playing that way at some point anyways, so in lieu of making a video about Siege Expand, I was just gonna make a quick one on, like what might be like a safe opening that's not quite as complicated as the 3 Vulture. And not that I think the build is actually complicated, just that there's a little bit more multitasking. You got to kind of stay on top of your Vultures, but I still think in like every scenario, for the most part, that you should at least open with a Vulture. But you don't have to go 3 Vultures, and you don't have to go Mines. And so that's what we're going to do here. And so I'll just go standard here. I'll go 12 gas. Usually I'm an 11 gasser. So yeah, this would be for TvP, obviously. And I'm just doing this one in an FP VOD instead of just doing the game and then talking about it in the replay. So yeah, so just standard everything. Normal barracks timing, normal gas timing. You can 11 racks if that's your thing, or 11 gas rather if that's your thing. So 2 on the gas. And yeah, I guess I may as well talk about it while we're here. I don't really think that boosting is all that big of a deal for new people. I think you should just try to send each SCV to its own patch. So then, yeah, Marine, Depot, and then your 16th supply, so your 15th SCV. Just rally to make the factory. Okay. A little late. That's alright, we'll survive. Okay, there's the Protoss player. So SCV first. Then another Marine. And so, what I'm doing with my scouting SCV, I'll just start over here. All I want to do when I go scout, so I just want to see if there's range or not. This is just a computer, right? So, and then I take the SCV out, and then I go back after the goon leaves. So I go back at like 320. Okay, so 3 Marines. And guys, don't lift your barracks to like float down here until after you have your bunker and everything. Because if they hide their zealot, it's a pain in the butt. So, okay, so I make the Vulture. I'm pausing on 24 supply. I'm getting the command center. Okay. Now I'm gonna make a depot. I'm not making any SCVs here. 2 back on gas. Now I go SCV. Send the Vulture across the map. Now I'm going machine shop, and now I'm sending SCV down here for the bunker. And I would just send, if this guy's top right, I would just send this Vulture down this way. Because I'm expecting the goon to come. And oftentimes when you send this SCV back in, that's going to bring the first goon home, right? Wow. 3 zealots. And then here, you don't have to go mines. Like, this is it right here. Now we just go tank. Right? And now you have a Vulture on the map. You could just leave it somewhere. Doesn't really matter. And if you want to, you could just go siege here. And now you have this guy on the map. And you can go and you can... Maybe something happened and... You didn't get a chance. You lost your scouting SCV, so you can run back in and check. Is there a Nexus? Okay, there's no Nexus. I better throw down the eBay. You know? And so, I'll pause. I'm going to pause here. Well, I can't. So because it's a single player game, so I'm just gonna resume and let the game play. But this is like the problem is that you can see the minerals I have here, and I guess I just did throw down an eBay. But the reason I don't like this is just because it's so expensive and it eats a lot of gas. But this is a really safe way to play, and you could do it this way, and you can get you can have the vulture on the map, so you have a little bit of say on the map or whatever. But the problem is, and why don't we just at this point actually. Let's just do this all in one video without editing it. You guys are cool, right? You'll be patient with me. And then let's just kind of talk about this. This is kind of the issue that I have with playing this way. And why I don't really like recommend the siege expand thing even for lower level players is because like obviously guys this is a computer, right? Like 99% of the time Protoss gonna have a nexus here, but without mines and like without the vulture, you just have no idea what's going on. And then you can have like the Protoss take a third base really early and you don't know because you have siege and you're spending all this money on turrets, and then you got to keep in mind too that if you're gonna go siege and tanks early, then you're gonna have to take your second gas earlier. Like if you're gonna go armory or something and start getting upgrades off one factory, like it changes the economical structure of your minerals and your gas a lot, right? Because you can get 2 vultures for the cost of 1 tank, and you're not even spending any of the gas, right? So this is like the only alternative I would suggest to the 3 vulture opening. The other thing I like about playing this way too actually is, especially if you have an issue with the vulture opening where like the goons come and then all you have is, let's say like you got your first vulture out of the base, right? And the issue that you have as a newer player is that now you have like a rallied vulture that's here because you want to do the 3 vulture opening, but there's 2 goons here. And they're shooting your bunker. And you feel like you can't get your vulture out of the base because it can't ride by the goons, and you're just repairing it, and then you got to wait, and you got to make a tank to get the goons to back off. Okay, that's a common problem, and I think a lot of lower level Protoss players are going to be dumb enough to leave their goons here, but that's actually like a really big mistake. And so alternatively, what you can do instead of get siege is like right when the machine shop's done, you get mines first, you make a tank, right? Just 1 tank, so that you can push these goons away, but you have the vulture on the map and you have mines. So you could just lay like 1, 2, 3 mines outside of their natural once the mines are done. Or you could lay like, let's say they were shooting your bunker at the goons, you could lay mines here. And then you could just unload the bunker with your 3 Marines and your tank and push the goons back. And then the goons might just run into the mines and die. And depending on if, maybe Protoss went like 1 gate robo and they're going into Reaver and they lost their first 2 goons, like you could keep making vultures and take your Marines and a couple SCVs across the map at this point and do some serious damage, or maybe even win the game. That actually can happen where you can just win the game. I mean, higher level Protoss players know the mine timing, and so they'll shoot your bunker for a while, but they're going to leave before the mines are done. So anyways, I could kind of rant about openings for a long time because openings are they're a huge part of the game, right? Like the first 9-10 minutes of the game are probably arguably the most important. So those are some alternatives, right? You can go tank and mines and make the tank first so that you can just secure this position. Or you can go tank and siege here. But just like I said, keep in mind, it's just, to me, I think people say you should do it because it's safer. I don't know if it doesn't feel safer to me. I think if you can get used to it, if you can eat the losses from opening vulture mines until you get used to it, it starts to feel safer because you have mines on the map. And you know if Protoss is coming across the map. You know if they're trying to take a third because you have a mine there and they have to wait for an observer to kill it, or they have to micro it off or whatever. So I think it's better to go mines, but try it this way, and hopefully this little ranty doodle helps somebody out there later. Cartman, bro!